Thank you for joining us for our first episode of Vampire: The Dark Ages, an episodic game where kindred stalk the night in the 1200s. There's a peace across Europe as the Mongol army has been thwarted, but in the new peace, more sinister plots have a chance to arise. We start our story in France, the artistic hub of Europe. Whispers of dark happenings have spread throughout Paris, especially in the poor district. Something sinister is going on down there, and the deputy sheriff has asked you all into a meeting. The deputy sheriff, known as Sir Bernard, he has individually met with each of you to meet somewhere on the outskirts of the south side. Now, it is most likely the first time all of you have actually gotten together as you kind of roam in different circles. Some of you may be new to the city. Some of you may have been here for a while, but normally you don't interact. But at this point, Sir Bernard has brought you all together. Now, we're here with players Balmor, the Dude, Tetnak, Doc, and Ghost. So, we're going to start with Balmor, if you want to introduce your character.
My character is called Ellie. She has the appearance of a 10-year-old feral child. Clan Gangrel, and I will be an animal a lot.
All right. Next, the Dude.
Miss Graviel de Santillana. I am from Spain, and I think that is probably all that you know.
Oh, thank you. And Tetnak?
Moses was born in 1210 and throughout his early life served as a Knights Templar in the Kingdom of Hungary, the place of his birth. He was a minor baron under the King Bela IV. The fateful day came in 1241 when the Mongols invaded. Moses led his men into combat but were doomed. I prayed to God to give him strength, but no answer came. Instead, Moses and his men were slaughtered. Afterward, I was about to be thrown into a ditch, but something happened. A stranger came to me and promised me everlasting life. I thought it was Michael, God's angel, until the request was granted. When I woke sometime later, I was filled with anger and lust for pain. I found the Mongols and tore them to pieces. I found the weak and the groveling Hungarians and destroyed them. I did not stop. I did not relent, killing and feeding, torturing and murdering. They called me the Monster of Mohi, name for the battle that sired me and true. Eventually, my sire taught me the ways of patience and attempted to temper the beast inside me. Even though my embrace was only a year ago, the sire sent me to the west, into the heart of Europe, to learn on my own.
All right. And Doc?
I feel your pain.
Life, I was the son of a wealthy merchant who was himself the son of a wealthy merchant. This line of wealth and status dates back to a time of antiquity. My family is one of great but subtle power, the likes of which cannot be understood by those living today. In my life, I was unaware of this lineage. It was all revealed to me in my life. My sire chose me because I, unbeknownst to me, was the ancestor by direct lineage to a powerful family who was long thought deceased and scattered to time and history. After revealing to me my true history, my sire told me that my life as I knew it was to be erased from this earth. All records containing my name were burned. Anyone that knew of my existence was destroyed. Any human that knew me, whether as a merchant, a friend, a lover, a husband, would forfeit their lives for simply knowing my name. My human life and my monstrous unlife now belonged to my ancestors. So now, I spend my nights skulking about in the darkness, wearing shadows as if they were an old, comfortable coat. Despite the hatred I have stoked in my heart for my sire due to the loss of my old and comfortable life, I do the bidding of my ancestors. Through the pain of my disfigured body, I sit in the rooms and offices and chambers of nobles and merchants as they discuss their plans and secrets with one another, believing that no one is aware of their machinations and deeds. But I'm there, listening. I'm there to collect something more precious than the gold they so desperately seek. I collect the secrets, the thoughts, the ideas and motivations and the knowledge of all these people. I collect the foundations of power. Then I give that power to my ancestors who have long gathered, tended to, and pruned it into a tree of their own making. I give that knowledge to my true clan, my true family. I give that knowledge to the Merovingian.
Fantastic. And Ghost.
Oh, baby. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna follow that, but
No.
bear
There's
with
no way.
me.
Game over.
I am Victor. I remember little of my life before the change. Shades and visions of a war against a rival clan. Capture and torment flashing through my mind at the most convenient, inconvenient of times. I remember what life I lived after the change. A glorified guard dog for my sire. He spending much of his time slaying wayward intruders or the occasional armed contingent. I fed well and served faithfully for many years, but there was a strangeness, a feeling indescribable. When blood dripped from my claws, I felt rage. I teared into corpses, fed upon even blood that covered the dirty floor. My sire questioned my behavior. I told him of it. My sire gazed warily at me for many a moment, and then released me from his service. He called me a beast, and told me never to return to his chantry, and never to contact him unless the situation was dire. He said, "You are my child, Victor, but your real father is the beast." And so out I was cast, left to fend on my own. I'd watched him survive many years, his careful webs of alliances, It's manipulation of weak mortals or the vampire. Complex games. This is not my game. I am quite the liar, that is true. Lies could flow from my tongue whenever questioned, but I do not understand the machinations of others. But I do have great strength. I do have ferocity. I have rage. I carved out a roost in a stretch of catacombs and tunnels, making my home among the bones. I learned from those I killed. A trap from the trap maker when I split his neck. How better to use my strength, fighting. And I fought a mighty pugilist and smashed his head against the cobblestones. All of this to survive, to thrive as the hunter. My compatriots call me a monster. They are right. I am a monster. I will seed this world with fear and my own kin before my time is done.
I'm done, by the way.
Thank you. The five of you gather to kind of a rundown house on the outskirts of a very poor area of the south side. Each of you kind of enter at your own leisure, and inside stands the one you know as Sir Bernard. He is, of course, a beautiful creature, being of Clan Toreador, a bit poncy, but fairly capable in the ways of the blade. And as you all finally assemble into the room, he addresses the group of you. Thank you for coming. I greatly appreciate you all showing up so promptly this evening. Now, many of you may know or may not know what is going on right now and why this was so urgent. The sheriff has instructed me to gather the five of you, mostly in secret, as the prince has required of him some service. The sheriff is a bit stretched thin because of the influx of new kindred in the area. So he wants this to be kept under wraps, and he wants to take the credit, and as such he will give you all minor favors for not speaking of this. Now, onto the matters at hand. What is going on in this part of the city is there seems to be bodies turning up, and we are not sure exactly what has been turning up, but it has left the common folk extremely unsettled. The problem with that, as you might guess, is it is starting to attract very negative attention from both just normal citizens who are slowly going up in arms, and concerningly, the church. Now, it is our mission, and hopefully this evening we can find out what it is, as court is in a few days and the prince wants an update. Of course. But our goal, hopefully, is to figure out what is going on, who is being found, and what is causing the problem. Questions?
Odo just sits in the back, and he's using the shadows to his advantage to obscure his body, his image, breaks up his silhouette, and he's looking around the room and looking at all of these others, none of whom he knows and he hasn't seen before. Odo has lived here for a very, very long time. This is, his country and his city. So the others aren't familiar to him, so he just stays back and watches patiently.
Moses is leaning against a pillar in the room with his arms crossed, and he stares down to Sir Bernard. Moses is a large man, wide of shoulders and tall, wearing a mix of a thick woolen cloak and leathers beneath it. And he says, "When these bodies were found, what was their cause of death? By steel? By the hand around the neck? By a rock to the back of the head? By a..."
Well,
He just waits for you to go ahead.
Sir Bernard kind of places a hand on his cheek. Well, the most concerning things about these bodies is that there was no true apparent cause of death. They just seem to appear in the middle of the street, face up, their bodies cold and hard, but not like regular skin. I am no doctor, so I do not know, but
They're
it
plague.
seems almost
No?
maybe it might be plague, but it was hard like wood.
He rubs his chin a bit and nods and kind of leans back. He seems a bit, perhaps, not so happy with that answer. Hoping that maybe that they were killed by something more natural, like a blade, etc.
Mm.
This reeks of mysticism.
I agree.
Odo finally steps, out of the shadows, and he's just wearing, a long gray linen hooded cloak. It's in tatters on the ends. And he looks at the, not the sheriff, but the deputy sheriff, he said?
Yeah, the deputy.
Sir Bernard. Is there any way we could look at an example of the bodies?
Well, I think we could probably get our hands on one. As far as I know, there is a funeral of sorts going on for one of them today. It is kind of more public, as far as I know.
Well, it usually is more quiet after dark.
Well, we can always go and check it out. It's a good idea.
When did these bodies first start showing up?
They started showing up around the beginning of the month, which it wasn't very many at first, but there has been around. And Sir Bernard thinks for a moment and pulls a piece of parchment out of his pocket and kind of looks at it. It is about 14 bodies so far.
In 1 month.
Yes.
And their skin is as wood, you say?
Yes. It is what I've been told.
These are the common folk.
Yes. There are no nobles down in this area. Just commoners. Usually it would not matter, but the mystery of their deaths has attracted some eyes we do not want out.
Is there a trend? Are they women? Children?
Children, it seems to be.
Ages? Young, very young?
Between the ages of probably, I'd say, maybe 5 and 12.
They're all children.
As far as my notes say they are.
And that does kind of pique his interest. He kind of cocks his head to the side and runs a hand through his greasy hair.
Interesting.
A
I'll say it
hunter
like
with a
that.
taste. A strange taste.
Dude, you're staticky there.
Yeah. A little bit.
Ellie's keeping quiet to another corner of the room, not really saying anything, but observing everything.
Well, if everyone is ready, unless anyone has to gather any equipment for the evening, I am not too sure what exactly we are running into, but at least as far as I know, it is more of a recon than anything.
Yes, let's go look at the little children.
All right. So,
Very well.
I just said
Alright.
very well.
So, we kind of start heading out there. And right now it's a bit rainy. Going outside. The rain's pouring down on you guys. It's definitely obscuring kind of your walks. Everything's a little bit hazy. There's not a lot of people out right now, but those who are obviously poor. They're kind of huddled into dry sections of the area, trying to just stay warm. Their fires are not very bright as the rain pours down on them. There seems to be a very somberness to the air. And you see kind of some parchments blowing by, some sketches of people's faces on them if you care to take a look at any of them. And as you're walking, you kind of hear a little bit of a crying in the distance. Some yells. That's normal for kind of a poorer section.
Misery. Typical and wanted here.
Misery is the only thing that has lived here as long as I have.
Yes, perhaps it is only that exists here, but at least these people can feel it and they know how it is to be alive.
Pah! Death is a blessing for these children.
Perhaps you are right, but I don't think so.
He just looks you up and down, not even really knowing who you are, but kind of like just turns and looks back forward and begins walking again.
And Odo, he, as soon as the first drop of water hits his forehead and starts creating a little trail down his face, he pulls the hood of his robe up over his head, and he uses the shadows to obscure his face. Even when walking by an open flame, for some reason shadows just keep covering his face where light would normally be hitting it.
So, as you're walking, you kind of see a woman in the corner, kind of murmuring to herself. They took her. They took her. And she looks to you all and kind of reaches out. daughter. She's gone, please. And she reaches out to you, Odo.
Odo, as soon as she reaches out, Odo grabs her by the hand and pulls her closer. And as soon as he pulls her in close, the smell of the funerary incense comes off of him, and his wet linens create such a strong odor. And he just whispers to her, "You will likely never see her again. Go back to your home and make your arrangements to mourn her." And then he lets go of her hand and keeps walking.
And as he lets go, we'll kind of reach out and clasp her on the shoulder and just, Madame, the creepy one is likely right. However, you should probably seek refuge from this weather. Perhaps stay indoors during the nights, if possible.
And she looks up to you, Gabrielle, and she's just like tears down her face, and the rain adds to it. But I saw him. I saw him take her. Help me. Please help me find her. And she just keeps begging you and begging you.
Who took him?
Well, he was big. He was big like you. And he the big cape. And he the big hat. And she's like fanning.
Moses reaches out and grabs her by the face, around the cheeks, and just starts squeezing. Calm yourself. Stop your rambling. What did you say? Describe him in a clear voice. Calm. As he's basically squeezing her face as hard as he can. Well, not as hard as he can, but...
Ellie kind of creeps in, standing nearby so she can hear.
Well, he was about as tall as you, sir, and he's all in black. I didn't get a look at his face, but he wore a very large hat, kind of with a large brim, and it was very tall at the top.
Where did he go?
She doesn't really have the words anymore. She's way too scared of you. And she kind of points down an alleyway with a very shaky hand.
He very roughly pushes her backwards onto the ground and just steps over her.
Gravia will the woman and help her up from the ground. And he just says to her, Madam, you must find your way indoors. I apologize for the goods. He knows not the manners of this society. But please do find your way indoors.
Thank you. Do you promise? Do you promise to find her?
Madam, I may, but I give you my word, we will look. And we will only do so much because there is only so much what to do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And she kind of gets up and hurries out of the rain and kind of runs down another alleyway.
A black hat. Tall. Took a child. Coincidence to all this?
No such coincidence.
My thoughts exactly.
Sir Bernard
So what-
was. Oh, no. Go ahead.
So what do you propose? We go after this with
You're cutting in
the
and
big
out.
head?
You're cutting in and out big time.
So what do you propose then? That we go after the girl with the big hat, with the big head? Do you think there are not one in this city? I think maybe we set up a watch. How do you say a watch? Or we look if we can get the jump on on this man. Perhaps he kidnaps out if it is the same man.
What are you talking about? Do you want to watch every child in the city?
No, just one.
Victor will gesture over towards Ellie.
Ellie just kind of glares at the group.
Bait.
Idea.
Odo turns his head to Ellie, and then he looks over at Victor, and then he starts getting a smile on his face. Yes, very good idea. Very good idea indeed.
The hunter must bait the trap for the prey to fall into it. She is the perfect bait. She appears fragile, but we know what she is. The one who seeks them may not be so fortunate to know.
Yes, and also perhaps she ends up destroying this man, and then we don't find any of, oh, not where any of them are. What?
Why do I care about finding children? The only thing we must do is kill this man, or whatever it is. We are not here to play favors.
If they were too weak to survive, they don't deserve to live.
Well spoken.
Moses looks over to Victor and shakes his head.
No. This is exactly what that is. A favor. Or we would not be here. A favor to the sheriff. A favor to the prince. That is why we are here. What do you think they will say if we simply kill him? Give me an hour with the man. He will spill all his secrets.
We assume it's a man. But that makes no difference now. Our only job is to track whatever it is and capture it so that we may gain our sniveling little favors from the prince.
Woman, man, it makes no difference. Bring them to me and they will speak.
Ay. Son un montón de monstruos. I don't know what to do with all of you. You are all over the spectrum. You don't know which way is up, which way is down. You don't go. You don't know anything yet.
You talk too much.
Perhaps you talk too little and kill too much. We don't know this.
Enough.
What I
He is
do
right.
know is that we still need to see the body. Please. Sir
So we-
Bernard, take us to the body.
I was just waiting for you all to get done with this. I also agree that we do need to take him captive. But I do not agree that these favors piddly.
Well, let us get done looking at the corpses so we can go after the prey.
Sounds good. And Sir Bernard will keep walking forward. He looks down at his parchment, seeming to be a map there, and he's following it as he goes. Soon the group of you all come upon a kind of a funeral procession. It is very somber, and the casket is very small. You see everyone walking with the pallbearers and everything, walking with the coffin. They all have tears running down their face in combination with the rain that's pouring down. There's not a lot of people gathered in the open area, but there are quite a few. Many are walking up to pay their respects.
So we're all just seeing this happen?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, it's kind of an open area where everything is happening, and you're kind of coming up from an alleyway. So you're still hidden from everybody, but they, yeah.
Ellie seems disinterested by this.
Graviel just kind of closes a fist and purses it against his lips. Hey. El hedor de este lugar me enferma. No, I must get away. This sickens me. And he kind of just backs up a little bit away from where everyone else maybe goes through. Processions out of sight.
May I, go back in the alley where, not in clear view and, spend a vitae to, turn into a crow or something to get a closer look at maybe the body in the procession?
Mm-hmm. You can do that.
I'm gonna do that.
Alright, turn into a bird.
Yeah, I'm gonna, go fly towards, a nearby, tree or, building, somewhere where I can get a good view and watch what's going on.
So, are you looking down at the actual procession of the body?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I'm also using Eyes of the Beast.
okay. So, what you observe as you're kind of up there, looking down, they don't have a cover at all on the coffin, as they're marching it. And inside you do see a very small child. You can probably guess around probably the age of probably 5 or 6. They have a small cloth that's covering him. The body looks a little bit brownish, not in skin color. It's a bit off more than anything, and the cloth that's covering him kind of sinks in where the chest is, like there's nothing to support it.
Have I ever seen anything like this before?
Zach, I make you a roll for this. Give me a medicine.
Alrighty, is it, intelligence medicine?
Yeah.
Okay. If I did that right?
I think so. Let's see. Let me see there.
On your sheet, there's dice pulls. The attribute.
I don't have any. I don't have any dots in medicine. Does that make the difficulty 7?
You got 1 dot there.
I do.
Yeah. Looking at your sheet.
Oh man, I don't know my character at all.
There you
I'm
go.
the worst.
3 successes.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. So I'm going to say with your knowledge kind of in the human body, even though it's very basic, you know that if there's a cloth laying over someone, then the chest part should not be sunken in. Therefore, something is definitely missing.
My guess would be a lot of internal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a doctor, but that's a guess.
What's everyone else doing? I know, Victor, you're strolling up and acting like you're supposed to be in line. What's that look like?
So I just look over the procession and see that there's a fair bit of people there, and that it wouldn't be out of the question that other people would show up late, perhaps, to the procession, it being that we're all very busy people. So Victor would kind of look around and just begin to nonchalantly stroll forward, covered head to toe in rags, obviously, because I don't think I can even walk outside the way that I look. So.
No.
And just kind of try to take a place in line at the back, waiting to have my time to pay my respects, as everyone else would think.
Moses is standing away from the procession, just kind of idly following it. Seems rather disinterested in going up and sneaking up on the body and looking at it, figuring that other people will do so.
Yep, Odo is just kind of following along off at a distance, staying in the shadows. His hood pulled up over his head, over his face, and just watching the procession as it goes, waiting for its final destination, waiting for a moment when everyone leaves and the body is left alone.
Right. So, time goes on. People of casket sat down. People are walking up and paying their respects, laying down flowers. There's many tears and even some wails that can be heard over the splashing of the rain hitting the ground. And Victor finally get up to the front of the line.
Is this child completely covered head to toe with this cloth?
No, it's mostly the upper body that you also see sunken in. So, from what you see up close, the body definitely has more of a stiffer than normal for rigor mortis look to it. It is very, very wooden in appearance. The child's face, as you kind of look at it, is definitely contorted into pain, as it did not look like he had a peaceful death. The rest of the body, besides his face, was fairly much the same. It's very gray, very dull. You can slightly smell the stench of decay, covered by flowers.
What do the eyes look like? Eyes tell you a lot.
The eyelids are shut. Do you want to open them?
I don't know how they'd feel about me touching a dead body.
That's true.
No, I will just observe. I actually want to look around the procession itself to see if anybody matches that description that was given to us with the hat. Tall hat, black stuff. That would be something I could imagine someone like this would do.
Yeah, so can you roll me, let's see, perception plus alertness. If you have Auspex, you can add your dots of Auspex.
Oh, I know I don't.
Oh, don't see anything. So if you go into character sheet, go down to dice pools, enter your attribute and then ability.
There you go.
There. Okay. So I'm gonna say that you see on top of a rooftop. It's kind of close, but still pretty far away. You kind of see a dark outline standing up there. It's fairly big. And looks like he's wearing something on his head.
I would. How far away are my companions, quote unquote?
Well, you got a bird up on a building, and you got your companion kind of more into the alleyway. So I'd say maybe like, I don't know, 40 feet.
I would walk a bit to the side while making sure I take note of that building. A bit aside from everybody in line after paying my respects. Give some falsetto, half-assed prayer visibly, and then walk off to the side and just kind of motion, and then maybe I don't know if they'd even recognize it right off, but I'd motion them to follow and then begin to head towards that building.
I'm gonna assume Ellie would notice, and if she was in the area observing the proceedings, I'll fly after him.
Moses is just kind of idly watching, and kind of when Victor motions for them, he just kind of lazily begins to walk in his direction, wherever he's going.
Yep, and since Odo doesn't miss anything, he sees them start wandering off, and he quickly starts moving in the same direction.
What is it?
Do not look directly, but look.
The building, and I would just give some verbal directions to him.
Side glance. Do not stare. You will see it.
Very well. Very well. And he does so. Tries to catch a glance with being a little sly about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Odo completely brings shadows around himself now so that he can't be seen, and he steps off to the side so that he's away from them as well, so it doesn't look like a group forming right there, and he looks in the direction that Victor was mentioning.
Ellie will land on a nearby perch. I don't know if I could have heard which way to look. I guess I'm just observing these guys for now, trying to figure out what are they doing.
And so Bernard will follow. Oh, okay.
No, you're good. Victor's just gonna keep his head down, but try to keep enough of a side glance on to where he can track him. And it's probably not the greatest idea, but if it looks like this person that I'm following, this figure that I'm following with my eyes and trying to be very sly about moving towards, attempts to, I guess, book it, Victor may dive off into a nearby alley and attempt to chase him with wings.
Yeah, Moses begins to cut through the alley, heading in that direction. Not being particularly sneaky, because he's not a sneaky fellow. He reaches behind his back and touches under his cloak a short sword that sits kind of on his lower back, under his cloak, and continues walking. It's a nervous habit that he just like touches the blade as he continues walking forward.
Ellie will fly over ahead of the group and try to figure out what they're following.
So, Victor, you're keeping an eye on him right now? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of see him, and he's kind of, observing the funeral and everything. It seems the rain's getting a bit heavier now, making the vision a bit more obscure. But you slowly see him start to leave. He's not hastily leaving or anything. It's just more of a saunter, but he's kind of hopping across the buildings at this point. Definitely going somewhere.
If I lose him at any point, like in eyesight, I will dive off into an alley and I will do a quick shoot up straight with my wings so I can get on the same level as him.
I'm gonna assume if I'm like flying overhead, I should be able to see a guy jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
Alright, well. So, Graviel. So, with your keen Auspex eyes, you are definitely going to see the man in the top hat. Let's see. He's definitely a bit unsettling. You can kind of see more of a detail of him than the others, just from your role there. Kind of wearing ragged clothes, but at the same time, they're still kind of well kept for the quality of them. He's got his hands are very long claws, it seems, on them, and he seems to be kind of rubbing them together as he goes. You can definitely see him where he's beelining to. It seems like he's going to an abandoned theater at the moment. That's where his direction's heading.
Am I able to notice this man? Do I need to roll perception?
Oh, you're high enough. You got this.
All right. Well, then I shall
It's a blurry
pursue.
outline, but yeah.
I shall pursue with my night vision.
Can I push harder?
Pardon?
Deeper. Can I push the abilities a little harder and try to get deeper to see into his mind a little bit?
Let's see.
Would that be possible?
Maybe. Let's see.
For Auspex?
Let me just look up this
What are your
Bold
disciplines?
strategy, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays off. Give me one moment.
That would be like Steal Secrets.
What discipline is this?
This is Auspex.
I've never gone past 2. Because I'm like, I can tell if people are lying now. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, you're all good. Sorry, bear with me for one moment. Just gotta double check that.
You're fine.
So there's a Steal Secrets. The character can open a doorway between his mind and the targets, allowing him or her to surface thoughts as they were spoken out and aloud. And that would be intelligence plus subterfuge.
Okay.
Just-
So roll that for me.
Okay. As soon as
I'll say.
I've found it. I'm terrible.
Oh my god.
Ooh. Well.
So
Reading
this
your
this
mind.
this goes This goes back to what I was whispering then.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has a secret from your mom.
Yeah, he hears your secrets. Yeah,
Oh.
I know what I would do.
Directly.
Yeah.
So what secrets is your mind giving off right now?
That he's being followed.
Yeah, that we're chasing him.
That you're chasing him. Oh, okay. So instantly, you kind of feel a feedback that gives you a feeling that you haven't experienced in a while, a headache. You feel that kind of sharp pain in your brain, and you feel kind of a presence there, just kind of protruding at the edge of your mind. And as this happens, the rest of you kind of notice the man in the top hat. He perks up, kind of looks around in a panic.
What do I gotta do to activate bird stealth mode?
Roll me. Here's what I want you to roll me. There you back. Give me one moment. I would like you to definitely roll me.
Stealth and dex.
Actually, do intelligence plus stealth to figure out exactly the best place to hide.
It's fine. I'm relatively intelligent and stealthy. Standard difficulty?
Difficulty 6.
Where are you? There you are. Difficulty what?
4. Difficulty 6.
Okay.
Not too hard. It's raining.
So he's been alerted? Is this what's going on?
Oh, he's been alerted.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
tried to use
also been
aspects to
alerted.
pick his look into his mind, and he rolled
I just
negative 2
wanted to see his
successes.
surface, yeah. Wanted to just see his surface thoughts, and instead he's like, hey, by the way,
I'm
by
following
the
you.
way.
Open my mind into yours. Oh, you see what I thought
Yep.
instead.
How well
so
do
he's
I?
booking it now, or?
Well, so even in the rain, and even because you're a small bird, the eagle eyes of the man in the top hat do see you. No pun intended there. So he does spot you out, and just based on kind of your erratic movements and your beeline for him, it does make him pick up the pace even quicker as he actually descends down from the rooftops into the alley, and you all lose sight of him.
Something is wrong.
What happened? He's
Can-
gone.
Can I go down into the alley and turn into a bloodhound dog?
You have to land first.
I'm a land. Do I have to roll to land? Do I automatically know how to land as bird?
Well, if you're planning on doing kind of a tuck and roll, you have to roll for it. But if you're planning on like properly landing and then turning into a bird, you don't have to. But it's gonna take you more time.
That's fine. I will land. I will turn into creature with good sniffer.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna go into an alley and wing up, just fly up real quick to the stories that he was on, and run over to the building if I can.
All right.
Get his last stat.
Ellie, I'd like you to make me a perception plus alertness check. Actually, sorry,
Okay.
awareness check.
Wrong thing. Perception and awareness.
Yes.
Okay. Do I get anything for being dog? I do know I get like modifications depending on animal.
But it's also raining.
Yeah, it's raining. I'm not gonna get anything
Okay.
sent.
Perception. Awareness.
Perception awareness. Hey.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Do 10s explode in this system?
No.
No? Okay.
They do actually. We only get to roll once more, but you got one.
I thought it was a different kind of test, not a basic test, was it? I don't know.
I
Tends to
thought it
explode
was.
once.
Oh, I thought it was that 10s cancel ones.
Tens cancel ones and tens explode.
Okay.
So I think you can roll one more D10. We'll just add that to your successes if you get it.
Okay.
Cool. So you got 5 successes. Fortunately for you, even as you land, and even because of the rain, you actually still smell the actual like bloodlust of this man, and you can sense exactly the direction that he was going, even on foot. He was hustling though, so you're definitely far behind, but even in the rain, you do have the trail.
I'm gonna wolf at people behind me, see if I can't get some attention and tell them I found the trail.
The rest of you hear a barking in the distance. You're still fairly close, but it's a bit muffled because of the rain and the walls around you.
I can't imagine that I would have any idea that she turned into a dog and began to bark, so Moses just turns to Graviel. What is wrong with you?
Hey. And Graviel's kind of clutching over. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. No, I must go. I must go. And he just kind of darts off as quickly, just to get away from the people, from the crowd, from everything that's going on, and away from his companions.
Moses just watches this like sprint off, and like he looks very confused.
Yeah, I'm so confused too.
What is this fool? And he just looks around, seeing that Victor and Ellie are both gone, and just kind of like looks around.
Odo would have been watching Victor's movements this whole time and been following in his direction.
Up.
Yeah, so wherever Victor is going, Odo is trying to track and keep pace with.
He flew, I think, right?
Yeah, I
he flew up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have wings.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to follow along.
Ellie is attempting to get the flying gargoyle's attention as dog.
I'm not hungry, so I don't know if I'm gonna notice you. I know I would be over where he last was. I saw him drop down just up from where he was at, so yeah, I see a barking dog.
Yeah, I mean, if I see Victor, I would head in that direction, but
You see a barking dog with glowing red eyes.
Are you barking at me?
Yeah.
All dogs bark at me though, shit.
This dog isn't afraid of you though.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And you just saw Ellie as a bird with glowing red eyes.
But is he smart enough?
The red eyes, yeah, am I smart enough? Would I know? Red eyes? I think in all fairness, I do have to look at, and actually, does this seem like a normal dog? So, what is that?
Make me
Probably.
that shouldn't actually no. Make me a intelligence check. Plus, what else do you got? Anything else relevant?
What do you roll for common sense?
Do you have the common sense merit?
Sure don't.
Well, roll me intelligence plus animal.
I mean, I'm gonna roll to try to follow his trails or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, this will be fun. I have no points in animal ken.
That's okay.
So
I mean, you're welcome to try and
Great
get the
games.
dog.
Div 6.
I'm invincible.
Either way.
It's a dog.
Woof woof.
A big dog.
If they don't seem smart enough to follow, Ellie's just going to follow the trail anyway.
So I'll try to follow. I'll try to follow the trail and see what I can figure out from where he might have went.
If you're gonna follow the trail, what did I say? Perception plus awareness. If you're trying to follow him.
Ellie's already running off. It's a dog after the trail. Ow, wow, wow, woo.
All right. And you got 2 10s, so wow. Your perfect score.
Oh,
Nice. That,
They just-
okay.
Yeah,
so if you roll a 10, that just negates a 1, and then you don't. It doesn't explode after that. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
yeah, that works.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So you also got on his trail. You're able to actually kind of see the footprints where he ran. There's a bit of like mud between the buildings and everything. And
There's a dog.
Hmm?
Weirdly, there's a dog following the footprints.
Yeah, you see a dog, and the rest of them kind of following the footprints, and you see him running, and he darts into a nearby abandoned theater, right in the back door, and slams the door shut.
How big is this theater?
It takes up a good block. Like, it is pretty big, but it is definitely not used anymore.
Lots of windows.
The windows are all boarded up.
Boarded up. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
about to unboard one by crashing through it as I take flight.
All right. Give me. Just roll me a d10.
This is the amount of witnesses that see this atrocious being take flight in the middle of a crowded town.
It's me-ish. Luckily, it's nighttime, and not a lot of people out now. Most of the people are actually still at the procession.
I mean, if you're lucky, the prince won't put a blood hunt on you for, breaking traditions. He's a forgiving guy.
Oh yeah, the Ventrue Prince is definitely a forgiving guy.
Ventures are notorious for smudging the rules.
So, okay, so you roll that, and now to smash through that window, I want you to also roll me a strength check, plus brawl if you have any potence at it.
Oh yeah, I have some. I've dabbled with potence. Let's see.
I see
my
this.
God. Oh my God.
I have a technical question, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
The bonus when it comes up when you're rolling the dice, that's to add dice, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just making sure that's how it's working, how I think it works.
Okay. Well, you versus glass. It's pretty clear who wins. And wood. So you smash on through that window and kind of go tumbling in. There's glass shards everywhere. You actually end up kind of more in the green room, or what would have been the green room area. There's kind of cobwebs covering almost every square inch of this place, though there is some evidence of someone or something being here.
How far behind am I from the gargoyle?
You are about a block away from the back entrance of the theater.
All right, just let me know when I arrive.
So
I have
does
stuff in mind, but go
Odo, was he able to keep track of Victor and know the direction he's going in? So am I still going in the right direction?
I'd say, yeah. Well, it's a big guy flying in the sky, so you definitely saw where he went down.
Yeah, I would be following him then.
Right.
Or at least following Odo, following him, right?
Yeah, so I just continue to make my way there.
Okay. So, you all kind of, and Ellie arrives at the back door at least first. There is evidence, and you can actually smell that he entered this door.
I'm assuming I can't open it with my dog paws.
Nope. You
I
can
will
try.
I will turn back into little girl.
All right. Are you gonna go in alone?
You know what? Yeah. I'm a lone wolf. I don't need these losers.
All right.
But I will try to be stealthy.
Okay. So, if do you want to open the door stealthily?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and creep in.
Okay. So roll me Dex plus stealth.
Okay.
Be quiet. Be silent.
Deal. I'm also gonna take a moment to. And then I'll look for that. Oh wow.
Ooh. So, Victor, fairly nearby to you, probably kind of in the next area, you
I
hear
kick
a
the
very
door open.
loud, you hear a loud bang as someone opens the door.
Honey, I'm home.
How's
Angry 10-year-old is here. Come at me, I'm bait.
I'm actually gonna take cover, like start get stealth myself, thinking that might be the guy, since he's not got any reason to stick around. So he's banging stuff down. So I'll try to be stealthy as well. Try to find some shadows in this room, despite crashing through a window moments ago. What is that going to be?
All right, let me change up some stuff.
I mean, who even invented doors? Obviously, you're supposed to kick them open.
Whatever.
Usually it's dexterity and stealth when you want to try and hide.
I did do dexterity and stealth.
No,
Oh.
yeah.
Victor was asking.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I know I'm not going to get that specialty because I'm not prowling yet, but might be soon.
Give me one moment. Okay, so all right, so both Victor and Ellie are now in the building. Are you keeping the door open, Ellie? Or are you closing it behind you?
Yeah, I was raised in a barn. I leave it open.
Mm-hmm.
Well, raised by wolves. Whatever.
All right. So you kind of arrive in this fairly dark hallway. There are some torches lighting the way, and there is a door off to the right side, which has a little label on it. Can you read?
No.
Can you read? Okay, well, you don't know what it says. It's just symbols at this point. So you see a door with little symbols on it. There is evidence of mud that's being tracked in, and it kind of goes deeper into the hallway.
Would I have heard the gargoyle crashing in the building as I approached?
Yeah, you might have heard the shattering of glass.
I'm gonna
as you approach.
assume there's backup, and I'm gonna keep
Alright.
walking down the hallway. Came this far, I might as well be the bait.
All right, what's everyone else doing? I'd say at this point, kind of everyone else arrives kind of at the back area of the theater.
Well, as Moses gets there, he immediately draws his blade and steps through the door, looking around for anything, really. Not knowing exactly what happened, but probably seeing, I would assume, the carnage of
Victor ramming himself through the window. But he immediately is like looking around for anything. He looks over to Odo and says, "Where are they?"
And Odo, coming into the door, he kind of slinks in, and the shadows overtake him, and he immediately goes into his unseen presence. And for a moment, you don't know if he walked out, if he was in the shadows, what happened to him, but to everyone else's eyes, Odo isn't even there anymore.
Where did you go?
Where did he go?
I don't care.
Odo?
Odo is still there. He just can't be seen.
Where did you go? Where is he?
Ellie's just gonna keep going forward.
Oh.
Yeah, if Odo doesn't respond, Moses just tries to find somewhere where he thinks that the others have went, and will go in that direction.
Make me a perception plus awareness roll.
Perception plus awareness. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay.
All right. You're unsure as to where they went. There's kind of like tracks, and then there's not.
I would like
And
to
it's
also
kinda gone.
make that same check if I can,
Yes, you can.
to see
Since
if I
you're
can
there.
find out where they went.
All right.
So Odo sees Moses kind of clumsily looking around. He's looking at mud on the ground, but he obviously doesn't know where it leads.
Mhm.
And damn one.
Ellie's walking around barefoot.
Oh, well. Hooray for Bernard. So Bernard is still kind of looking for Odo, but is also looking for where the small girl went. And as they come upon the door there, he kind of looks to it and sees kind of like a wet handprint on the handle. I think they went in here. The footprints say that they've approached this building.
Moses doesn't even wait, he just heads in that direction, pushing past Sir Bernard.
Ugh.
And Odo just remains completely hidden and moves through behind them.
I'd like to prep my feral weapons.
All right, so we'll move to Graviel. So you said you were searching for the party.
Yeah, he's just trying to regain his composure.
Where the hell did that guy go?
Yeah, he's kind of gone.
He flaked on us.
Are we missing someone?
No one important.
The guy that screwed us ran away. The guy with
You
a
don't know
headache.
that?
He had a sex headache.
Yeah, it's from all that sex. So is there a way that?
Roll me a d10.
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't want you to be out of it completely.
Oops. That's pretty good.
Well, it depends.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're going
Better
for
than
one.
a one. Better than
Yeah, it's true. All right. So outside, you actually see someone
I
fairly
can do like.
small.
Oh,
Hmm?
sorry.
That's okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was gonna say I can do like investigation or survival or something.
Okay. I was just trying to see what you run into. So you're kind of trying to find the party. You're fairly dazed and confused still at this point, as the voices kind of die down in your head. And in front of you, you see this small figure kind of swaying back and forth in the rain. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards.
I'm assuming I have a pretty good idea of who this is.
Well, I've seen them from the back, so. But it looks kind of like a child. They're, kind of enjoying themselves, looking up at the sky.
Okay. Who are you? Are you in need of assistance?
Child keeps swaying, facing away from you, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards.
And seeing this, Graviel's lip kind of getting a little bit anxious and maybe a little bit angry as well. He's... I said, are you in need of it? You answer me.
So, as you say that with more aggressive tone, the child will slowly turn around, and as it does, you kind of notice the wooden features on its skin, and as it turns fully completely around to look at you, inside of its chest it is fully cracked open, and what lies inside is not functioning organs, it's more handcrafted wooden heart, wooden lungs, even so far as wooden ribs, kind of holding everything in place.
Graviel just is sort of, he's not necessarily taken aback, but he's just thinking to himself, what is this? And he begins to lean in as his jaw begins, and he says, what manner of being are you?
So, how close are you leaning in? Because the child just starts whispering.
I mean, I would be assume at least.
Sorry?
Maybe away as he begins to lean in, just to sort of make out these features.
Alright. So, you can see the child's eyes kind of creak open, and inside it's just dull eyes kind of staring back up at you as it sways back and forth, just whispering.
And Graviel will get closer. Whisper a little louder. I cannot make out what you say.
He's a madman.
And as you get closer, the child just kind of whispers, "Are you my mommy?"
Nice.
Child, your mommy. Look at me. I have all the parts of a man. Clearly, I am not your mommy. But you did not answer my question. What manner of being are you?
And as he kind of laughs, the child, or what looks like a child, kind of starts crying. No tears are coming out. Just starts bawling. I don't know. I don't know. Mommy.
Stares. He's just blank, just expressionless feet. He just goes completely vacant, and he just stares. No, you are not real. You are not here. Look at you, wooden toy. You're no way. There's no way.
And as you say that, the apparent child runs away.
Raphael will just kind of stand up to his full height, just like what just happened here. And he looks around. What? No. I must push on. And he begins to feel sick in his stomach, and as he throws up what looks like just blood and bile, sort of doubles over in pain as he's trying to gather his thoughts and put everything together. I must find the others. I have to move. I have to go. And he just picks himself up and hurries off.
All right. So back to inside the theater. So Victor, what are you doing? You said you're sneaking.
Yeah, I'm trying to sneak and peek and keep tabs on Ellie since she's our bait, even though this hasn't really gone according to plan.
I'm the best bait.
So I'm trying to sneak and peek through these doors and just try to keep track of her stealth. Not even letting her know that I'm following, because I want to sell the authenticity of her being alone.
All right.
Kind of hold my arms like close to me, kind of like the hide my hands as I activate my feral weapons.
All right. Ellie, as you're moving deeper into down the corridor, you kind of start hearing basically the giggles and laughter of children kind of going on around. They're kind of running back and forth.
Only someone in front of Ellie can see the kind of glare, angry look on her face.
And you still have your eyes up, right?
What?
You still have like the dark vision.
Yeah,
thing up,
there's.
right?
No, I'll deactivate them.
Okay. So it's getting extremely dark as you're walking through here. And so far as there's not a lot of torchlight, but you just keep hearing these children running back and forth. You can't see them. You can hear them.
Can I smell them?
You smell wood and blood. And it's starting to get more pungent as you're moving along.
Alright, she can't stand it no more. She's gonna reactivate Eyes of the Beast.
Alright.
I am a child!
Alright. As you do, you actually see in front of you there are a number, and it looks like little small children kind of playing in front of you and around you. They're not really normal as far as you can tell. And if you take kind of a closer look, some of the children are more spliced together than anything. Like you see one of them has like 4 legs and 2 hands. They're kind of running around and playing.
Do they take notice of Ellie at all?
Is she observing them?
Yeah. She isn't sneaking. She's literally just standing there watching this.
Well, as you're watching them, now that they notice you seeing them, they're gonna start slowly moving towards you, reaching their little baby hands out.
Oh, she starts
touch you.
She starts snarling and backing up, growling like a wild animal.
Oh, they're still coming after you. They're getting closer.
And if one gets in the arm reach of me, I will take a swipe at it.
All right. Make me a roll then.
What applies to this celerity and potence wise?
So you're just swiping at them, right? Oh, let's
Yeah, I got Feral Claws activated.
Okay.
It's dexterity and brawl, right?
Think so. And then, do you have any potence? Yes, you.
I have 1 dot of it.
Yeah, so add that dot too, for damage wise. Oh, yeah. You definitely hit, and as your claws hit, it's not really flesh that you connect with. It's more wood, but you rend it asunder, causing the small body to kind of collapse. And the other children are still kind of slowly approaching, and that's when Victor kind of gets close enough to see what's happening now.
Yeah, Ellie is snarling and slashing at wooden children. Which, if any other get close enough to swipe at, I will swipe at them.
I'm actually gonna keep observing because I want to see if we see the little puppet master essentially for this. I mean, Victor's obviously internally pretty appalled what he's seeing as far as the children. I mean, these are not even beings to him; they're just constructs, little toys. So he's waiting to see the toy master in his mind. He's gonna let Ellie continue to do her thing. If it looks bad, he might help, but he's gonna wait for the toy master.
So all that's really going on, and honestly, these children are really no match for Ellie.
She is making like a lot of growling and feral noise. She is not happy with any of these things getting close to her.
They start kind of running around Ellie. They're not close enough for her to touch, but they just kind of start singing as they go.
Ellie's kind of like rapidly turning, watching them as they go, you know. Her eyes glowing red and snarling, showing her fangs.
Oh, they're still going. They're slowly getting closer.
She's gonna take initiative and start just mauling all of them that she can get a hold of.
Alright. Well, they're honestly no match for you at this point. You basically tear all these children asunder. There is evidence of flesh on your claws as you do tear into them, as well as wooden matter. It's almost like a combination of the two.
They were weak, I was strong.
And at this point, all the tiny, creepy children are lying in pieces before you. You're just surrounded by mayhem of little toes, little heads.
Ellie can't really relate to that. It doesn't register to her.
And since you spent a good deal of time playing with these kids, which is really all they really wanted, this is when the rest of the group kind of approaches.
Yeah, Ellie's just kind of standing there, all this around her. Her just kind of, all tensed up, kind of growling and looking around, kind of paranoid.
Is Victor out in the open enough for us to see him as we approach?
I'm hiding, man.
Okay.
I'm sticking to the hardest corner that I can.
No, that's cool. So Moses just kind of walks forward and sees Ellie and just kind of looks down briefly and sees the display of wood and bone and flesh kind of laying everywhere, and doesn't say anything, just steps past and looks into the darkness as best he can, then turns back to Sir Bernard and, well, it looks as though our prey is deep in these catacombs. Where is the ugly one?
I do not know. I think he left. I do not think that he wanted to participate based on what he said.
And Odo, still without revealing himself, will step over the parts of body, small hands and wooden splinters, and walk a little deeper into the area and just look down to the dark hall. And he stands there looking into the darkness for just a moment, hoping that maybe he'll catch a glimpse of something.
Well, you do get a glimpse of two doors, one to your left and one to your right.
And he'll step back out from the darkness there, but allowing himself to be seen as he walks out of the darkness, revealing himself with his cloak pulled down over his face. He'll step out and push it back off of his head.
Ugly one, there you are.
I've been here the whole time. What is this? What happened here?
They were
He's
weak.
looking at the bodies.
They were weak. There's no answer.
They were weak and they challenged me.
Well, I don't know how much of a challenge these small children could put up, but it
They were.
seems your ferocity got the better of you.
I don't know what they were, but they weren't normal.
And Odo just laughs.
They weren't normal. Look around you, little one. Are any of us normal?
Moses is kind of pushing around the bits and pieces of body with his sword, bending down because it's not a full sword, it's just what he carries in town. and just like stands back up. It does not matter. This is not who we are looking for.
I agree. We need to press onward.
Ellie will begin walking forward again.
Wow.
Moses looks to Otto and says, or Odo, sorry. Do you think you should lead, skulking in the shadows?
That is exactly what I shall do. Just tell me. And then Odo looks around. Wasn't there a Spaniard with us at one point?
Who cares?
What happened to that one?
Couldn't keep up.
He said he had a headache. And Moses literally just kind of shrugs, having no idea why he had a headache or why he left or anything. Completely clueless.
Very well, then. I shall move in front. But which door shall we take?
And at this point, we're gonna switch back to Gravio. Wandering down the rainy corridors of the city, trying to find the others. How's that going for you?
It's obviously going pretty well. I mean, are there I really pick up to in order to find these?
Sorry, what did you cut out there? What did you say?
Are there any indications or signs that I can follow? Should I roll an investigation or?
Yeah, because you're kind of hunting for tracks and everything to see where they're going. So roll me intelligence plus investigation.
Okay. So,
Oof.
yeah, better than.
better than -2.
That's true. So the rain's lighting up a little bit here, luckily enough, and you do see the very faintest outline of tracks, and they're kind of hustling. You do see some dog paws going along, and luckily you weren't too far away from the party before you kind of broke with your headache. And you do come upon the theater door, but before you get quite there, you see your old little friend, your little child friend, standing by the door, waving at you.
Tis you again. Tell me, what is your name?
I don't remember.
You don't remember your name.
No, they took it away.
Who is they?
The man with the hat and the man with the glasses. They took it all away.
So there are two men. See? Now this tall man with the hat and this man with the glasses, where are they?
And the child sniffles and kind of wipes their eyes, even though there's just rain, nothing else. Inside.
Inside this place. Inside this place here. Why are you out here alone?
Because I wanted to find my mommy before it hurt too much.
Oh,
It
child.
hurts, Mom. It hurts.
Do you know what your mother looks like? Do you know who she is? You don't.
The child shakes their head. No, I don't know anything.
Not even how old you are?
Not anymore.
Well, child, I don't mean to upset you, but your mother is probably long dead.
Really?
But I would have to say.
Hmm. Can you do something for me?
What is it, child?
Can you end this hurting?
End the hurting. You want me to end your life?
It hurts too much.
And Graviel stands up, kind of recoiling a bit. You cannot ask this of me.
Please. I can't live like this anymore. It hurts.
Graviel sort of puts his hand to his mouth, breathes heavily, and sighs. Child, you must be. This is something that. This thing that I can do. Don't you this? Perhaps you come with me.
After he's dead.
After he. Yes, I will see. Maybe wait for you.
Thank you. This way. Through the door. And the child will open the door. Kind of hold it for him.
Graviel steps in.
Alright.
Do you know the white child? You show me.
I do. Come with me. And the child will reach down, take your hand, and hurry deep down the hallway.
Graviel just follows.
Alright. And back to the main party. So what is your decision for left or right?
Well, which door shall we take? The one on the left there, or the other?
Moses just says, left!
Can I try to see if I can still smell the guy?
Yes. Please make me let's see, perception plus awareness, so you can still smell him.
2. Awareness. Nope.
You, unfortunately, with the blood of the children on your claws, your senses are a little bit overwhelmed at this point, and you've lost the scent of the man in the top hat.
Ellie just kind of rubs her face with her arms.
And Odo walks up to the two doors in front of him, and he stands there and he just looks down. And he looks down at the ground. And then he looks at the doors. And basically he's trying to get a sense of any kind of disturbances? Is there like dust moved, out of the way in front of one door over the other? Is there, mud on a handle? Does one door look more used than the other?
So gonna be difficult. But I want you to also roll me perception plus awareness. Any aspects you might have. I don't know if you... Well, you cannot tell either way. You think that neither door has really been used recently.
Moses, which door did you say to go through?
Will you just get on with it? Moses just walks forward and just points to the left door. Go that way. It does not matter.
Odo opens the left door and he pulls it open. And as he pulls it open and walks through, his linen cloak flowing behind him, he disappears into the shadows in front of everyone, and he's not seen.
Ellie's going to peer through the door with her eyes of the beast activated. Well, what's it look like?
Well, as you open the door, a very strong stench of decay kind of blasts out from down there, kind of just wrenching you all in it. And there's definitely something permeating down there. This door hasn't been opened in a bit. It has obviously kind of been more or less sealed, and you opening it kind of broke that seal. And the smell kind of just floods down the hallway.
And
There is... Oh, go ahead.
And even though no one can see him, Odo raises his head and his nose into the air, and he just...
Moses, smelling this is like, well, I suppose we go right. And he
Ellie
takes a step backwards and kind of spins on his heel.
Ellie simply just doesn't breathe and goes over to the right door and opens it.
Alright. So inside the right door, you can kind of tell there's curtains on one side and kind of a bare wall on the other. And it's dark, but at the end of it, kind of leading to what looks like a stage. You can kind of hear a little bit of commotion going on now. You do hear some whimpering, and you hear some tools going, as well as some very wet noises.
Ellie will begin walking straight towards where she's hearing it. She gonna be bait. She's gonna be bait.
Alright, is she going in alone? Is anybody else going?
No,
She makes the assumption they're following her.
Odo, he didn't walk so far into the other door that he wouldn't have noticed them decide to choose the right, so he immediately turns around, taking one last whiff of that delicious air, and then turns and takes the other door, remaining hidden, and follows Ellie in there.
Yeah, Moses goes in, staying far enough back where he can watch. He's not particularly stealthy, so he doesn't try to be, but doesn't walk up with her. Lets her go forward by herself.
Alright. Is Ellie sneaking?
No, she's walking like right down this center row. I assume it's like a theater, so there's chairs.
Well, as you walk up the curtain, you're basically entering stage right. And you're kind of walking onto stage. You are in kind of the back area and bring y'all over a little bit.
Odo is essentially, I mean, at her side. He's just near her, just a couple of arm lengths away.
All right. And what you see, Ellie, as you do kind of go past that curtain area, it's definitely a ruined theater. Definitely not much acting has happened on the stage in a while. But sitting right in center stage, there is a man with his back faced to you. And he's kind of got long, black, thinning hair, kind of stretching backwards down towards his waist. And he's hovered over this chair. And there's the small figure in the chair kind of twitching at each dab and slice that you hear going on. If you take a peek kind of out into the crowd, there are some chairs. Most of the area is fairly downtrodden and ruined. There's a lot of kind of water damage that's happened. Some of the rain even seeping in and dripping onto the floor. In some of the seats, you see tiny figures just sitting, unmoving, just watching. And across the way, over on stage left, you see basically the man in the top hat standing there watching on as this happens.
Ellie's going to walk until she gets about, the middle, like from where she entered to where they are, and then stand there.
So, let me make...
Also, she's like standing there looking at them, eyes glowing red, claws, and not breathing and also not blinking or showing any emotion.
All right, give me one moment. Just, I'm gonna roll a little bit to see if he notices you coming in.
I'm a tiny child. I got light footsteps.
Oh, well, your light footsteps don't do much in this case. So,
Well, it's not like I was stealthing.
so as you're walking up, you just approach towards the edge of the curtain where you step on a very creaky step there, prompting the man to turn his head. And he looks at you with wide eyes, and a smile slowly creeps across his face. Hello there. Have you come to play too? And he stands upright from the chair, and in the chair you see basically the remains of what was a probably 10-year-old little boy, just cut open, laid there.
Ellie just remains standing there silently looking at this man. Like, she's not breathing or moving. She's just eerily standing there. This kid in, like, tattered clothes, barefoot, and, like, messy hair. Eyes glowing red.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Odo wants to take a look at the man in the top hat and just wants to get a good basic image of him, picture of him. What does he look like? What is he doing? What is he, how is he portraying himself? What's going on with that guy over there? He's just trying to basically, figure out who this is.
Mm-hmm. So the man in the top hat is standing more off to the side, though as Ellie comes in, he kind of straightens up, kind of a look of both anxiety and fear kind of wash over his face as he stops his previous finger tapping. Before it was fairly rhythmic, and now it's fallen. He starts approaching Ellie from across the stage. He seems to be getting, mostly in posture, bigger and bigger, and angrier as he approaches. And he looks ready to strike.
When he starts to approach, she lets out like a scream, yell, growl thing type of noise. And, kind of changes her posture like she's ready to strike if he gets close.
And the man in the middle kind of looks to the man in the top hat, holds up a hand, kind of in halt, and then he looks back to Ellie. Wait. We do not need to harm her. She's just here to play. Isn't that right, child? You've come to play with me and my dolls?
Ellie doesn't respond. She just glares at him, and her eyes kind of narrow. She just looks like a pissed kid.
His previous smile falters, and he frowns slightly. You should really be nicer to your elder, small one. But that's okay. We can still play. And initiative. I think... turn order.
Yay.
Yay! Fights!
Yay!
So, let me just figure out.
It's wits, dex, and then
Celerity.
celerity if you have any.
Yeah.
And then you do get a D10, I think. as
Yeah,
well.
D10. And add those.
Okay, so it's just a D10 plus those.
What's dex plus celerity?
So 8 plus 10 for me. So
Dex plus wits plus celerity. And you only add celerity if you're spending to use celerity.
You have to spend some of your blood pool to do that.
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, click it. Okay.
Do we roll our wits plus dex plus celerity, or do we just count? Okay.
So it's like 1d10 plus those.
Wait, did you say wits plus dex?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
That's attribute plus attribute, right?
So it's attribute plus attribute?
The dice pool on the sheet won't let you do that. I know that I'm only familiar with Chronicles of Darkness, and I know you can do that in Chronicles of Darkness, but I don't know about Masquerade, right? So
Yeah, you can't do that on here.
I know you can just add the totals together, then do like /roll.
Yeah.
1d10 plus X.
Yep, we can just do it manually.
I'll spend to use celerity. I want to be fast child.
So it's roll.
Just roll your dice pool. Roll.
Just your whole dice pool.
How the heck do I do turn order?
So you click on the token and add turn, and then put the number next to them what you want.
So is there a difficulty? Is it 6? Or
Is the wits plus dex a plus whatever, or is it extra
Yeah,
dice?
So you roll a flat d10 and
Yeah.
then add your wits plus dex.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I got 13.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
Fucking Doc, I knew he was gonna do it. You don't roll the d10s, man.
1d10 plus your wits plus dex.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait,
that's
what?
on me. It's a.
What am I supposed to roll here?
Okay, so
1d10.
All you do is roll 1d10, and then you add the sum total of your wits and dex attributes. So if you got like 3 wits, 4 dex, and you got 7. So that's your flat. You don't roll those.
Oh, so
Yeah.
those are your flat.
So you've got a 9.
I also have a 13. You click on the tokens.
Yeah.
Right click on the token, add turn. If the token needs a name to them for it to work, though.
Yeah.
Ah, damn. Is it because it's Matt? Oh,
Yeah, that.
No, it doesn't need a name.
Yeah, you can do just that works. Mm-hmm.
oh.
We know what we look
dang.
like.
Most of the time, there's the dark.
Right.
Fast Ferratu.
Oh, snap.
Also, TD, I'm gonna get you to roll as well.
Okay.
As you spend 4 turns getting here.
Whoops.
I spent a point to use celerity.
Hey, dude, next time you get a headache, don't run off in a different direction than everyone else.
I've never seen more of a scared vampire ever. I'm scared of I'm scared of this. I'm out of here.
Oh, 6 headache.
Listen. Headaches are very scary.
Post coitus headache. I'm going.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, you guys just took off without me.
Yeah, that's what happened.
You're a bunch of think for yourselfers.
Yeah. So if you guys wanna, while I do this, if you guys wanna just role play, I don't know.
So from the shadows,
Come on.
Odo, he immediately pulls a dagger from his waist belt and starts making his way around the edges of the room to start getting behind these other things.
Mine's I didn't do the plus. It's a 13.
Oh, it's a 13. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moses is just in the back with his sword, kind of spinning it in his hand, but he's like standing fairly far away from Ellie and all the constructs, just kind of waiting at the back of the room, kind of behind them all, just watching with a satisfied grin on his face.
So Victor only has a 5, yeah?
Plus my 8 from
Okay.
Dex Woods.
I'm missing, of course.
Odo is the fastest man.
Don't mind me. I just made a boo-boo.
I didn't see it.
There we go. Okay, good. Oh, hey.
Next, before next session, I can help you, and we can
Okay.
do a little button that'll make this automated for everybody, and you won't have to deal with it.
Yeah, that'll be good. Dang it.
No, it's all fine. Not a
Sorry.
problem. No, you're fine. You're absolutely 100%
We
fine.
made good
Thank
time getting here.
Okay, so I don't know how to add Odo back to the turn order.
Click on his token and then add turn.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, I am.
Listen, he's invisible. We can't see him on it.
Yeah, that's what happened, guys. That's
You can
exactly
hear
what
that
happened.
turkey neck flapping. The wind.
He looks like a mask.
You just hear him. Oh, it smells so good.
Oh goodness.
There has not been one masquerade game I've been in where the Nosferatu isn't a weirdo.
Well,
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
Doc, what did you roll again?
he rolled the highest. He rolled 14.
Okay.
Oh, the dude. Dude, we're
Oh yeah, you did roll. You
Yes.
rolled 15, but you're like, 2 or 3 city blocks away from us. So
I'm in the same building.
scared and super scared.
Yeah, no, the dude made it to the building. He's not 15 blocks away.
I know.
Listen, he
Yeah,
freaked
you're
out at a bunch of little wooden children. Like Ellie killed 10 of them.
Oh, but I freaked out. You freaked out. Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Ah!
Listen, I don't like being touched.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. I freaked out though. You got it.
I didn't freak out. I handled the situation with violence.
Oh wow, okay. So he is a 4. Alright. And slow boys. All the NPCs are slow today. Just like me. It's good.
You're doing good.
Thanks.
Yeah, don't worry about it. These things always suck when it comes to putting in manual turn orders.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
Unless you give us access to our icons and we can click on them, it just
Mhm.
so
I'll
that
figure this
automatically
out.
goes in next time.
Yeah, this is fun.
7. Oh man.
I have no strings, now I'm free.
There are no strings on me.
hmm
Figures we'd have to fight Geppetto our first fight.
This is fucking
Emphasis on the
creepy,
pedo.
man. Spooky Pinocchio.
Yeah,
Okay,
I haven't seen any jackasses yet. So they must not be.
There are no mirrors around.
First, you can tell. You can
Can't
tell.
see yourselves anyway.
So few in the group actually on the road of humanity. None of us give a damn.
Yeah, the problem was, TD, you're a decent person, but we're all not.
Yeah,
Why can't I-
definitely not a good.
Most of us can't even relate to human emotion.
Fight,
Yeah, you get.
fight against your nature, my man. Meanwhile, I'm gonna kill all these kids.
You guys
Oh
You guys-
goodness.
You guys left all your fucks at home.
hmm
Oh god.
And oh my goodness, you rolled a 15. Oh goodness. Okay.
He's fast.
Yeah, you're fast boy. Okay.
He can fuck
Wow.
up his allspecs even faster now.
Listen. He heard shit going down and got here fast.
Hi, Mug.
Hi.
All right, so we're gonna start off with TD and his new best friend.
Oh, I make it here.
Yeah. Well, you're not inside yet. You're still running down the hallway.
Oh, all right.
But you're about 1 turn off. But I wanted to start with you.
Okay.
All right. Odo. what do you
Also,
do?
for your benefit, Matihi, you can rearrange turn order to be descending, and that way you'll know who's next.
Sending. Thank you.
There you
Hey.
go.
Thank
Did
you.
Sir
Okay,
Bernhardt
go
really
ahead.
just roll a 4, or is that just
I think I rolled a 4, and then I'm like, I didn't add his celerity.
okay?
And whatnot. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Don't
He ain't using it. We're not a threat.
Yeah, not at all. Or
Okay.
Alright, so where are we?
all right,
Okay, so then
these.
I mean, Graviel. I guess he just makes his way to the room, and he just
Mhm.
sees maybe.
Yeah. So what you see is you see one door open that you just smell like just decay and death down there. It is horrendous to your senses, and your child companion is very fearful of going down there. The other door is wide open, and you kind of see the lineup of your companions. And now we're on to Odo. What do you do, buddy?
Odo will make his way around the room with his dagger in hand. And he will slowly and silently, using shadows to his advantage, walk up slowly behind this thing, whatever it is, and be prepared to slit his throat.
Do you mean Mr. Top Hat?
This one here.
He was pinging
Okay.
the guy in the
That
middle.
guy. Got you. Okay, so you're over here. Alrighty. Alright. Oh, turn north. There it is. So next, we're gonna go with Ellie.
Ellie's going to hold her ground, stay where she is for now, and be ready to move if someone comes towards her. She's not going to just run up and attack this enemy.
Alright, so you're holding your action?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have Victor.
Top Hat beat me, technically.
Oh, Top Hat's it.
I'm sure he has a higher base wits index than 8.
So since no one's actually moving to attack, he's going to step up, actually, beside his other companion here, and almost protectively kind of stand in front of him with his claws out. And he looks at Ellie and just snarls at her.
She snarls back.
He's also holding his action. Just waiting. Alright, now it's Victor.
Alright, well, since we're all being very sneaky, I'll stop. Creeping around in the shadows for the most part, for the better part of what's been happening, just watching and seeing now that the puppet masters have revealed themselves, or have been revealed. Victor is going to take flight and attempt to fly full bore at the Top Hat man, seeing him as the more dangerous of the two in his eyes. Just for reference, I can apparently fly 45 miles per hour.
Awesome.
So, I'm just going to go full bore at him and try to wrap him up in a tackle.
Alright. So roll me. What's that? Definitely your potence plus your brawl and your strength. You can add your potence as bonus die. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And I will roll his dodge.
Canceled the one.
I think it does it. I think it does it automatically.
Yeah, they auto cancel each
perfect.
other out.
Cause 6, 7, 7, 9, right?
Oh. Tie to the defender. So.
Even with a 1?
That's true. Oh, we did get a 1. There we go. Doesn't count that. Okay. 6. Wait, hold up. I think I rolled that wrong.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I was
that's
like, wait a
one
second.
success.
There we go.
Oh, it's even worse.
I like that one a lot better.
Yeah, that's one's
That's 0.
Mixed up.
Shit.
All right, what does this look like? You go full bore.
Fly through, tear off the curtain maybe that's there, and going full speed.
Come, embrace me.
Try to grab him and lock him up.
But you've already been embraced.
Oh no, this is a different kind of embrace. This is one that I like
Ellie's
later.
only 10.
He's
in
not gonna like
appearance.
now.
All right, so
I wrap him up,
yeah.
and I don't know if I, push him back. Obviously, no damage from it, because I'm just trying to grapple him right now and sort of tie him up, wrestling style.
In that commotion, can I use my action now to run off and hide?
Yes, you can. So you're actively looking to hide.
Get behind
During
something,
combat.
find cover. Let the
Alright.
bigger people get in there and tussle before me.
Okay, so for stealth at least, again roll me int plus stealth, finding so you can find a good place to hide.
Intelligence and stealth?
Yep.
Okie dokie.
All right, so you have you think you found a pretty good spot. You hide behind a few broken down chairs, and as far as you can tell, you're out of sight, out of mind.
I would have been doing this during the commotion of him making impact with Top Hat Man.
All right. So Mr. H, or Top Hat Man, and Victor kind of go tumbling right back onto the stage and kind of get wrapped up in each other. So you're just trying to grapple him, yeah?
Just a hold, yeah. Doing a hold.
There you got him. So Moses.
Moses actually looks. He's at the top of what would be the not stairs, but seats coming down from behind it. He actually sits down and throws his feet up and watches without moving forward or doing anything. And kind of smiles as he watches like people fighting down below and all the chittering of the children in the seats. So I will.
Do I smell Malkavian? Anytime anyone does something crazy, Malkavian.
Question mark. Roll me a d10.
Okay.
All right. So you didn't really notice before, but as you're sitting down, a small hand kind of rests on your lap, and then another one rests on your shoulder, and then a small little face kind of pops up into your view from behind you.
Can I act?
You just spent action to sit.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello, friends. You here to see the show as well?
Damn.
I'm good. All right. So, Sir Bernard, he kind of looks around and noticing some of his compatriots just sitting down, disappearing, standing there, hiding. It was almost infuriating to the noble Toreador, and he decides to just get over with and dashes towards the glasses man, Mr. Geppetto, and will take a nice clean slice at him.
Do all the work for us, Toreador.
That's what he always does. That's a Toreador for you. Always doing all the work.
He's the deputy. He's deputy sheriff. This is his job.
So this is his attack. Oof.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And the dodge of this gentle. Give me one moment. Let me check. Ooh. Ooh. All right. So, so Bernard dashes forward, his beautiful hair kind of trailing behind him as he ran, and he took a quick step, and Mr. Geppetto has no time to kind of dodge out of the way and gets stuck with the sword right in the shoulder. Alright. And next, we come to Mr. Geppetto.
See what creepy shit he's gonna do now.
Mm-hmm.
Freezing our head.
Oh, let me just double check this. So, Mr. Geppetto, though he's in slight pain from the Toreador's poke, he'll kind of look towards him and smile. Do you want to play too? And what he'll do is, let's see here. He'll actually attempt to grapple the Toreador. And he's trying to transmogrify the mortal clay on him.
Knew it.
Not
You never fist fight one of those.
Fist fight a Shimizi.
Never fist fight the Zamitsi. They'll give you a nose job or make you into a nice chair.
Grapple. Alright, so it's gonna be strength plus brawl. Alright.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Versus his dodge. Which is pretty good. It's also they're pretty well.
Is it 5 successes good?
Oh,
No, it's not.
No, it is not. Okay.
That's a lot of ones.
Don't you get to roll again on 10s, though?
They cancel out the ones, but they
Yeah,
still
there's
one.
still one.
So what happens is that Mr. Geppetto kind of reaches out, actually impaling himself further onto Sir Bernard's sword, and grabs him by the back of the head and puts him into a headlock. Toreador unfortunately has no time to get out of it. And let's see.
You're a Toreador. Where's your celerity now?
So he actually grabs his face, Mr. Bernard's face, and kind of runs his hand just down his mouth. Time to be quiet now, child. And he'll attempt to basically take away his mouth at this point.
Not his beautiful, beautiful mouth.
No. I know it's bad. Very sad. Let's diff for that. Unfortunately, each success scored. Oh, so it's sorry, it's difficulty 8. My apologies.
Or 1 success.
Oh. Well,
And that's better.
yeah, that's better. Well, for okay, so basically he wipes away Sir Bernard's mouth and kind of and actually takes some of his nose with it too. But he has him in a grapple there.
Not his beautiful nose.
Oh. Alright, and I think it's back to the top of the turn order. Yeah, so it's time for the friend power to go.
Yeah, friendship power.
Yay.
So the one way you said that the Pinocchio here is super afraid of going, and then the other way I see all of my companions, correct?
Sorry, you see Pinocchio and... Oh yes, Pinocchio's afraid of going down the hole, like the place that smells terrible. Doesn't want to go down
Right. Which door?
The door that he's afraid to go in is the left. The door where you see everybody else is the right.
Right. Okay, so seeing this, the little boy, he sees this too, and he can say he would presumably point these two out. These two. Okay.
Yeah, he'd be like there. That way.
Well, one guy's got another guy in a headlock, so I mean,
Yeah.
He's also
That's
wearing
right.
the top hat right here.
Yeah.
My powers of perception are.
Are you
Anyway,
gonna try and off-spec them?
how How far away are they?
They're approximately. How big a stage is? 25 feet, maybe. Yeah. So you're close enough to approach. Like you could get there. Like
Okay.
if you took full action.
It's possible. I don't want to move right up on him or on them, but maybe just off the side of the stage or.
Sorry?
I don't want to move directly right up on top of them. Maybe just, someplace right over in here. Yep, just off to the side. So that I can reach him on my next one, I guess. And actually, is it possible to... I'm sorry, I'm thinking here.
Oh,
and I
What
had
you
all
do
this
think?
time to... oh, man. Can I do Howling Lunacy or attempt to do Howling Lunacy on him? Is that what... Did I have to touch him?
Let me just look this up real quick. Where is this? I'm guessing it's under demontation, knowing.
My Malkavian suspicions were confirmed.
I would say maybe yes. I'm just trying to scroll up to it right now.
I don't see where it says that I would have to touch them.
And what page is it on, real quick? Mobile.
I'm not even sure what.
Okay. It's okay. Scrolling. Hate that I can't scroll faster.
Yeah, sorry. I have just notes off to the side that I.
No worries.
Is it a PDF?
What's the power called?
Howling Lunacy.
Howling Lunacy.
Yeah, I
It's under
searched.
demontation.
I searched it and didn't find it.
It was Incubus Humor, Soul Haunting, Eyes of Chaos. Fire
Is this like a combo discipline?
Is it not out of the core, or is it something else? There you go.
It's in. Yeah, it's in the. I believe it's in the book of. Which one was it?
Oh, is this
the book of then?
Is this modern demontation or Dark Ages demontation?
Oh, this is even modern demontation.
This is it modern?
I don't know.
Yeah, they have different names depending on Dark Ages book and the regular 25th edition Modern Knights book.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Gangrel stuff has different names. It's basically the same thing, but it's slightly different.
Well, in any case, it wasn't in the book we're using.
True.
Well, just go find demontation in the Dark Ages book and see what which dot ability is this.
You can always use 2-point Soul Haunting, which it's okay. You can use 2-pointed Soul Haunting, which a brief speech to the target allows the vampire to touch the sacred or profane within the victim, destroying the banal concerns that keep those urges from making themselves known. So the vampire spends 3 turns speaking out. This is quite a bit. You have to actually talk to these people.
Yeah.
So you probably don't want that.
Hey, you are insane. You are insane.
Yeah.
Are you talking to yourself?
No, I'm high functioning. Okay. No, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I'll search for that, whatever that is, and then.
It sounds similar to Shedding the Mask, which is level 5 power.
Mm-hmm.
Is it level 5 that you're looking at?
I don't have that in my notes.
Oh.
Do you have 5 dots and whatever you're trying to do
Well, how many
here?
dots do you have in dementation?
Yeah.
Let me look. That's a good question. Let me scroll back up.
You've got 2. So
You couldn't even use
So-
Terrible. Terrible.
what you can use, however, if
Okay.
you'd like, is incubus humor. Roll manipulation plus empathy against a target, against the difficulty of the target's road score. Each success
Charisma and
extends.
empathy.
Manipulation and empathy. Each success extends the duration of the inflamed humor. Effects might include 1 or 2 point changes to the difficulty of friendship or virtue rolls, rolls to resist presence powers. It seems like. Ooh. Vampire may select one of the 4 humors that governs the body and induce the emotion associated with it. Thus, the flames of mild irritation may be fanned into rage with an inflammation of yellow bile. Okay. So you can make them courageous, hopeful, or lusty. Make them anger, hate, or like with hatred.
Yeah, maybe I can
melancholia.
turn them against each other.
Yeah, so you can like rev up one of them to hate, just with hate.
Okay, let's try that.
If you
Don't make
want.
the one I'm grappling lusty, because I ain't about that.
Just
Yeah, but he,
listen, the guy, the Zamitsi guy, he seems to have a lot of joy in his life. He wants to play. Let's see if we can take the joy out of his life.
Yeah, do melancholia.
Great. He's gonna end up hating us more.
I don't think the Zamitsi hates us. I don't
what's the
know that the Zamitsi are capable of hate.
He loves you.
what's the difference?
Oh, sorry. 7.
7.
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
That's
what
pretty
the-
good. So what are you doing to it exactly?
Roll 2 more die, too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was gonna do the top hat guy, but
Mhm.
sorry, he's because your ghost is on top hat guy. All right, so
Yeah, I'm wrestling.
What do you do exactly?
okay, so I'm trying to make this guy essentially really, really hate this guy. I just want his anger and flare up instead of against us to turn this guy into a toy now. He's tired of having him as a follower.
Okay.
That
All
toy's
right. Well,
no
he
more
did kind of
fun.
mess up like severely, so I mean
6
that's-
successes then.
that mild irritation of being caught because of Mr. H can be inflamed by
Yeah,
the
this-
Malkavian's words.
This guy here top us right to him.
Mm. Yeah, he did. All right. So, yeah. So you fanned the flames of rage.
Yes.
In
So-
Mr. Geppetto over there.
Will sound? Was it willpower?
I think that's it. You just rolled.
Oh,
That
I didn't know
was
if
a
he had to
roll.
roll against it. So I had 6 successes against him.
It's against. Is it?
That's
It's
not
versus
bad.
his. Yeah, it's versus his road score. Let's see. Manipulation. Sympathy gets the difficulty of the target's road score. It doesn't seem that he can save, as far as I can tell.
I think
Probably as
he
long
can
as it's higher
resist
than
it.
the road score.
I think he can
Willpower,
resist it
maybe?
if his. I think he can resist it if his road score is higher than the amount of successes.
Ah, makes sense. So
Which
it's
it
7.
isn't.
So
Well, I
it's-
would assume it's not, but
Oh, his
my,
road
road,
score.
my road score is 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be higher.
My road score is 5.
So, what is the difficulty to roll against, so to save? That's a good question.
Probably
Yeah,
same
I
as the
thought it-
difficulty to succeed, I
Yeah.
would think.
7, probably. That makes sense. Do. Thanks for bearing with me, guys.
No, you're doing good.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is all my fault.
Combat's always a bit of a work through whenever you're doing it for
Mhm.
first time in a while.
particularly first time.
Yeah.
So, oh god. No, what? How many dice do road score? Oh, willpower, maybe.
If his didn't you say his road
mean,
score
for
was 7?
canines.
He
Yeah.
just had to roll against his static number of a road score, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So he rolled 7. So whatever his road score is, if it's lower than 7, then Graviel wins.
Oh, it's higher than 7, but
His
he's-
road score,
yeah. His road score is 7.
then Graviel doesn't.
Yeah, Tyga's the defender, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
what
has
I
to-
would assume.
He has to beat
Okay.
his road
Doesn't
score.
he only
yeah.
have
Oh.
6 successes?
He does.
Oh, you gotta roll. Yeah, did you?
I only had
roll...
6 successes.
Yeah, he rolled
my
Ah,
explosions.
man.
So he didn't beat him then.
Darn. Okay, I was hoping. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I was hoping. So you attempt to kind of enrage Mr. Geppetto, but he's still calm, cool, collected, and he's surrounded by his toys, plus a few new friends. So what's not to be happy about? All right, Odo.
So Odo, seeing Victor slam into the creature wearing the hat behind him, hearing the crash, and then seeing everything else that's going on, just grabs the man's hair in front of him and pulls his blade across his throat,
All right, please
giving
make
up his hidden position.
Ooh, so sneak attack. All right, so that's gonna up the difficulty for dodge. I want you to roll me strength plus melee.
And I have 1 in potence.
All right, add that in.
Do it.
Do it now.
Oh man,
Wow.
Well done.
You missed.
I cut my own neck.
You cut Victor's.
My neck got in the way.
Well, I mean, you did fail.
Damn this turkey neck! It got in the way.
Yeah.
Gobble, gobble.
That's the problem. Everything I do, the turkey neck's there.
I'm
This
increasing the
apple
difficulty
stuck out
to
my ass.
dodge.
Oh,
Whoa.
Was dodge. So, Odo, tell me what that fail looked like.
So my mistake was grabbing him by the hair, because instantly his reactions, as soon as I touched him, he immediately pulled away before I was able to get my blade in place. I should have just slit his throat from behind and not touched him at all. And he immediately just dodged over to the left and spun his head around, and he's looking me straight in the eye now.
If you wanted to play, you should have asked. And he'll look right at you. All right, Ellie.
Okay, just to be clear, did Ordo attack Top Hat guy or Geppetto?
Geppetto.
This guy.
Okay, so which direction is Geppetto looking?
He's now looking towards Odo, so away from you.
All right. Can I get closer to him in my turn?
You can.
Sneak over to him while while these other people have his attention.
Mhm.
Do I need to roll anything, or can I just do that?
I'd say with all like the fighting going on, he's got a Toreador in his arms and staring at Odo. You can sneak over.
Okay. What I want to do is I want to, while his back is to me, I want to slash at him with my claws and then use my celerity to jump back and get distance away from him when I'm done.
Yeah. So you'll do the jumping back on the celerity round, which is going to go after the main round.
That works for me.
Yeah. So you sneak up and roll me an attack. Brawl plus strength plus any potent.
Oh, I thought it was dexterity and brawl to hit.
Don't think it's dexterity. Unless the thing.
For just a regular attack.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
regular.
Claws. You have feral claws, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, claw is dex brawl.
Okay, perfect. Roll that.
You get a flat +1 to your
Difficulty
opponent's
standard
damage.
6.
He's gonna have, since you're sneaking, a bit of a higher difficulty to dodge. That's really good. Okay.
Aggravated damage.
Oof.
+1 is claws.
So 5. Okay.
Damage anyway.
Ouchie, ouchie. Yeah, he does not dodge out of the way of that, so you definitely hook him. And what does that look like?
Basically, while he's busy monologuing, asking Ordo to play, Ellie just kind of creeps up and runs up and slashes at like his back before jumping back and running back at a distance so he can't fuck up her face.
Nice. You're technically still there until celerity round.
That's
so.
fine.
How much damage do you do? It should
It's,
be static.
it's off strength, right?
Strength +1 for claws.
Yeah, strength +1 plus potent.
Yeah.
So 4 damage.
Ooh.
And it's ag.
Oof. All right. He's definitely hurting. You slash him, and that smile that he had, looking at Odo, turns into a deep, deep frown, and he spins kind of his head around to glare at you.
Just want to put it out. Didn't need dementation to piss him off.
Yeah, you don't need dementation to piss him off, just hit him.
Gangrels do it better.
Oh. And he looks down at you. Foolish child. I'll teach you. I'll make you pay. Don't worry about that. And Mr. H is gonna retaliate and try to break the grapple that Victor has on him.
Oh, so this is strength brawl, right? To keep the hold?
Yes. And breaking out of a brawl. I don't know what that is. I think
Probably
it
the
might be
same
just
thing.
strength
It could
brawl,
be,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it's
brawl
gonna
versus
be-
brawl. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, how much is it?
Sorry? Oh, for
It's
diff?
opposed, right?
Yep. So it'd just be your potence plus your strength and brawl.
Okay, and then I have brawl specialty wrestling. Did that come into play here?
Oh
for
yeah,
specialty?
that's definitely gonna come into play.
Wrestling. Okay,
Oh.
so it's gonna be brawl, strength, potence, 1, 2, 3. It's 12. Oh my god. Gonna be rough.
Yeah.
That's okay though.
Oh yes, you overcome.
Wow.
That hold.
What does specialty do again? That's only you get 2 successes on
Goodness.
10s, right? I don't know how that works.
Maybe?
But
I
Man,
think you
not
just
that,
get like a
not
bonus
that it
die.
matters for this.
Masquerade is very different from Chronicles.
I think you just get bonus dice or something like that if you're in your specialty.
Oh,
Yeah.
you get an extra die. For
Yeah, you should
special
get an extra die.
Yeah.
It's usually what it
So roll
is.
another
Oh
die.
yeah, anytime. No, it says anytime a specialty applies to roll any dice that comes up as 10s counts as 2 successes. So,
Oh,
See, it's
so
different.
it's
It's,
just double successes for. Not that it
For
matters in this
10s.
case. It's
Yeah,
fine. He tries to break away.
Where are you going? The fun has just begun.
So I tighten my grip on him.
Are you gonna do any damage or just keep?
I'm gonna bite him.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going for where's this at? Show me the bite. All right. So bite's gonna be Dex plus Brawl plus 1 for dice pool. So let's do that first. See if this matters.
He's gonna be
And
at.
then I believe it goes for that. That would be potence, would it? I don't think it would. No.
Potence does, I think, contribute to a bite. Cause
Does
you're,
it?
yeah, I'd say.
Oh shit! All right.
Biting into him.
Well,
Hey,
you're
biting
using
Zach
physical
damage.
strength.
So
Yeah.
13. 13.
Deal that
Jesus,
ag
that's a lot
damage.
of dice.
Do it. He's got he's got an increased difficulty, and he doesn't have a lot of dice and dodge, so got a pretty good chance of biting him.
But you have 2 ones too. But oh shit!
Cancel out, though.
Oh
Cancel
my
out.
goodness.
And well, yeah, that means you roll 2 more dice, right?
Yeah.
2 ones, 4
One
10s.
success.
Oh, I guess we'll count. I guess one of them will block out again. So, but what? How many successes? 4.
Well, the question is, does an extra roll, does that
Doesn't
count
then
out?
5.
The extra roll
Yeah.
doesn't count as negatives, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
So you get 5
5.
success.
Oof, strength. This is gonna be bad for this dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so damage is strength plus 1, including potence. So 4, 7, 8, but then I have maw.
Oh my.
So,
And that's ag damage.
yeah, maw is gonna be. I think it's an additional 1. Yeah, your bite inflicts an extra die of
Oh
damage.
my goodness. An extra die?
Yes.
Oh jeez.
So I roll for it?
I guess?
No way. That
No.
can't be right. It
I
can
think-
An
I
extra
think-
die.
No, if it's like an extra die, I think it's applied to when you try to bite someone.
well, it says damage though.
Oh.
Yeah, but you don't roll for damage. Isn't damage
Yeah,
based
damages
on
are
your-
successes versus. I think you probably roll an extra die, and if you get another success, it's another damage. I don't think. It's not like you get like 5 more damage
I
if
was
you roll
gonna say maybe-
5.
Yeah, no, damage I thought was based off of your strength depending on what you were doing.
Yeah, it's strength plus.
It's like a static thing.
That's a good question.
Mhm.
Damage is. I got the thing up here. The damage. Number of dice used to determine damage. Add this number to the net successes rolled on the initial attack and roll that many dice? What?
That is nothing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's. I'll bring it out here. so
Alright, let's do it.
That's what it says.
Number of dice used to determine.
Page. What the fuck page is this in PDF?
Oh, I
Page
think you can...
347 PDF.
Okay, if I'm like interpreting this right, your damage altogether, like the number, I think you can add that if it makes it a success. Like, just add that as like how much is your damage right now, like without them all?
It's a lot.
Without maul would be damage. So without maul would be strength plus 1 plus potence. So 7.
Oh goodness.
What was your difficulty?
6, right?
So
Yeah.
that would add like another success onto your attack if I'm interpreting this right from what I'm reading.
Maybe?
Well, dice to determine damage. That means
That
you.
makes me think I'm rolling is the thing.
Yeah, but you don't roll for damage in this game.
Well, what you do in now this might be completely different. In Chronicles of Darkness, when you roll your successes, any successes you have, that's the damage in an attack. So if they have some sort of defense, what you roll in a success over that is the damage that's applied.
What I'm getting from this is you roll your initial attack. If you succeed, then you take the number of successes you got, add damage dice, and then roll those for.
I think it depends on how you interpret it, so I guess it's up to storyteller how we do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's up to you.
Well.
So what was the initial attack?
As a bite with
Right.
5 success, or yeah, 5 success.
Once a vampire Lupin essentially uses control, the bite causes ag damage but causes no Dex plus brawl, normal damage, strength plus 1. Damage, strength plus 1. So whatever your strength is, add 1, and then maybe add another
5.
success for the maw.
5 potents.
Yeah,
So it'd be 5 potents, then maw is so we'll do so it's basically plus 2, so 6 potents is 3.
9. Okay.
9, and then whatever else you're saying. So if you're saying one more after that,
Yeah, I'd say one more after that.
the
You
10.
can find out later, but right now, you're just doing 10 damage to this guy.
Aggravated.
Oh my goodness. Alright.
So is he Ash or what?
Tell me what that looks like first.
So
He's not dead.
We're wrestling. He's trying to grapple and get out of it. He's a very spooky looking guy. I'm looking at him now, but I'm scarier. And I grab him by his all that big hair he's got back there, and just yank his head back. And
Now, I see how you taste. I get my feast, and I
just bite down hard into his, not even just his neck, but also neck, chest, shoulder, just everything I can fit my maw through. And it's not to feed. I am sated. This is for just pure damage, murder, frenzy, trying to tear into his flesh.
Alright, so you fully rend into Mr. H, and the sheer just amount of damage just done all at once is enough to actually just drive this guy just from perfectly healthy right into torpor. And as you bite him, he just kind of crumples in your arms and just falls. Got a KO.
Baby.
Knocked his ass out.
Yeah. Alright, who is next? It is... Looks like a whole Moses. You got a whole bunch of child hands on you. What are you gonna do?
There's multiple children around me, is that correct?
Yes. They're kind of in... some of them just look like regular little wooden children with... some of them actually like have their real arms still attached. Like it's kind of a mixture of both wood and flesh, kind of amalgamated together in this kind of disgusting heap. And they're just kind of all reaching for you and trying to climb you.
He immediately tries to stand up and turns with his sword and tries to basically chop as many as he can at once, if possible, or just the nearest one, just viciously, without regard for anything, with an irritated look on his face that he has to get up and move and can't watch.
Oh, and now Ellie overreacted.
So you chop those little people to pieces, and kind of like the visual of this, the other children around just start crying and wailing just around you, and it's the entire area is just like a cacophony of just children's wails.
What are you crying about? I'm giving you a gift. And as he's killing them, he is smiling with a pleased sense of almost that he's doing them a favor. Although he's still very irritated that he can't watch what's going on the. He's in a theater. He's here for a show.
You got kids crawling all over you, and as you're throwing off and kind of killing most of them, there are more that are slowly approaching you, coming to touch you.
He backs out into the aisle. Would be slowly backing up towards the stage, if possible.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna move to so Bernard then. He's kind of still in a grapple from Mr. Geppetto there, and he tries to break it, trying to escape and free his sword from the man's shoulder.
I believe in you and your marred, beautiful face.
Poor guy. Let's see. His brawl is kind of not great. He's not a very physical boy.
I couldn't tell by looking at him. Obviously, beautiful boys are strong boys.
So that's his attempt to escape, and the attempt to hold from Mr. Petto. Let's see.
Oh shit.
Oh, wow. Unfortunately, Mr. Geppetto keeps a tight hold on the Toreador's ponytail, keeping him right there, unable to move. And, oh, he can get another success. Okay, well, he definitely keeps a hold of him.
Goddamn, he's gonna fuse your ponytail to something weird.
Yeah. So what he actually tries to do is he grabs the Toreador's hand and presses it against the Toreador's chest and attempts to fuse it, trying to maim the poor guy.
Man, if it isn't, Tremere doing weird stuff to Kindred, it's Zemitzi. Oh wait, sorry, K-Knights. This is the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm. Dang it, where'd it go? Oh, I wish I could put tabs on this thing. Oh well. I wish I had a physical book. It's so much easier.
I use the find function a lot.
Control
The find function kind of helps sometimes. Maybe it's
The
just
problem I have with the PDF is there's not, when you go to the index, you can't click it. There's no links in the PDF, which is a
Yeah, I
problem.
wish there was.
Only problem.
This book is, the one I have works like that.
You might have like a
Hello.
legit one. I don't know where I got
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah,
I think I got mine from RIM, so.
I do have an official one.
Yeah.
To make you feel better, I have an official one of the Modern Knights, and that book sucks. Like the index sucks, and there's no links in it, and it's just it's a hot mess.
All right. Well, that cancels that out. Like that. Ooh. Yeah.
Both fail.
Luckily, Tycho's a defender.
Is he using vicissitude?
He's actually using vicissitude, but he has to make a brawl check first. Yeah. He's not actually
Defend
that
your
strong.
pretty face, pretty boy.
He did.
It's not so pretty anymore.
Yeah, Mr. Bernard and all his silence, forced silence, ends up
It's fine. It's fine. He's a Toreador. He can fix it by tomorrow night.
Exactly.
Can't
He
fix
actually
no
slips
mouth.
out. That's true. He'll just be like that forever. But he ends up slipping out of oh, music laugh, sorry. He ends up slipping out of the grasp of Mr. Geppetto, and he ends up reclaiming his sword and kind of taking position back. He looks like he wants to say something, but unfortunately, he's very quiet right now.
Zemitzi got his tongue.
Mm-hmm. And then we're back to the top of the order.
Okay.
Oh, what about my celerity turn?
Oh yes, your celerity turn. Your celerity turn was to jump back, correct?
Can I change that?
Yeah.
Or is that set in stone?
No.
I want to take another slash at Zemitzi, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do character sheet again. Oh, I get another D10.
All right. Oh, where you go?
And another one.
Do I roll again?
It explodes.
Nice.
That's 6 successes.
Oh my goodness. I think you got him. Unless he rolls really high. He's not great at much physical stuff. Oh.
Oh man. And he gets to roll another one.
Oh.
You jinxed her. You jinxed her. Oh! Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh way.
He lives another day, or at least another turn.
God, what does that look like?
I go in to swipe at him, to do another slash at him, and he fucking sidesteps me. Like, nope, not today. Just casually steps to the side. It's quite embarrassing.
Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan child.
That was impressive.
Yeah, wow. Whew. All right.
I think if I had hit him again, he would have been Ash.
Oh yeah, he would have been pretty
1% chance to roll 2 10s in a row, by the way.
11% chance.
But we did it twice.
Yeah. Oh goodness. All right. So Mr. Geppetto easily dodges out of the child slashes. Almost tempted to just kind of push her head and push her away as she angrily swipes. Now.
Lots of growling and going, ah!
I picture this like he's like Neo fighting Smith, Agent Smith at the first mate.
Pretty much.
Doop, 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 doop. Get out of here.
So now it is on back to Graviel and friend.
So, looking around on the floor here, are there any broken, splintered pieces of wood
Oh yes, there are.
easily within reach?
Yeah, you definitely can reach one.
Okay, so grab one of those up and he make a dash over to this fella here.
Okay, I see
With
where you're
the-
going with this.
With intentions of driving this bust.
All right. So make me a roll, but it's gonna be hard because you're trying to pinpoint the heart instead of just generally hit him. I'm gonna say difficulty 8. Roll me strength plus melee.
It's for that particular attack, it's Dex plus melee.
Oh, Dex. Okay.
I just-
Yep. Roll me that.
Yeah, I just looked, and you said
Good
again.
reason.
Wow.
Well, you got a
Why?
critical failure.
Plus, she gets to roll
Alright.
two more die, even if it doesn't matter. But
So I picked up a
pretty
spike
insane.
and
stabbed yourself
waves.
in the chest.
Whew. All right. So, what does it look like? I'm rolling too good. I'm sorry.
Holy shit balls.
Here, what does
So,
this look like?
Graviel, he picks up a spike and he says, "No, stay back." And he goes lunging after Mr. Geppetto here, and he gets momentarily distracted because he sees this head,
Mr. Bernard.
and then he looks back and sort of just grabs Graviel to the side and goes back.
You kind of cut out there a little bit.
A little or
Oh,
completely.
oh. All right,
Yeah,
so
you can repeat that.
what part? All of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Graviel turns to the child. He says to the child, "Hey, step back here," and he, I guess, a dash toward Geppetto. But as he's doing over and sees, with no mouth, and he's just momentarily distracted, just long enough where he looks back up, and Geppetto just grabs the attacking arm with the spike and sort of flips it around and puts puts Graviel to his back on the floor.
So he knocks him down?
Yeah,
Alright.
I think that's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy just rolled beast against me.
Yeah, he did.
Zamitsi's too good, please nerf.
Alright, Odo.
Well, Odo, once again, while his attention is turned towards Graviel, will attempt to stab him with his dagger.
Alright.
Stabbing Graviel or Geppetto?
Yeah.
Graviel, please.
Just put him out of his misery already.
He's got a headache.
Man, this guy's untouchable.
No, I
It happened one
I
time.
rolled a
It's-
1
One.
Oh, I
Roll
thought
fun.
you rolled a 1. Yeah,
I rolled a 1, yeah.
success.
for dodging. Roll to
Oh, you
stab.
got 3. You got 2. Never mind, I'm done.
Oh, you got 3. Yeah.
3 minus the 1, yeah.
Alright, what does that look like in your stabs?
So he's distracted by Graviel, and just for a brief moment, while his attention is turned, I'm able to get in there and just basically get the probably a shallow stab with my blade.
Alright. How much damage?
Honestly, I don't know.
Broadsword says strength
Yeah,
plus
it's a dagger.
2L. Oh, dagger is strength plus 1L.
Oh, that's right.
Whatever that
What's his
means. I'm not
So
real.
strength
One-
plus 1 lethal.
L
Yeah,
means
one
lethal.
lethal.
I know that part, but
So 1, 2, 3. So strength plus 1. So 3, 4. 4 lethal.
Oh, okay. So taking 4 ag and 4 lethal. He's looking real hurt at this point. Not looking good. Probably one more attack like that and he's down for the count. Speaking of going down for the count, Ellie.
Please use me as a distraction.
Shut up. Okay, I'm gonna try to avoid ashing him, and I'm gonna throw a punch instead of use claws.
Alright. Heroic girl.
Well, they said they wanted him alive. And I'm not getting punished for not having permission for killing a kindred in a princess city.
Nice.
You don't have to worry about that.
Alright, throwing punches. How does that look? You hit him.
Basically, while he's like turning back, looking insulted at Ordo, I'm just going to punch him in his thigh as hard as I can.
Alright, how much damage you do?
3 damage.
Oh,
Bashing.
still
I mean,
clinging
I
on to
have-
life.
I have the child flaw. I'm only allowed to have 2 in strength ever.
So you punch him right in the thighs.
I sucker punch him. I Charlie horse him.
Ooh, yeah, he kind of goes down on one knee. He's, looking really tired at this point. Beaten, bloody. But he's still prepared to go. And speaking of going, Victor, you have, torpored Mr. H in your arms. What do you do?
I release him and see that we have not quite finished up with the spectacled one. If I can, I would like to full bore go flight into this guy and go for a great mighty blow.
Alright, blow him away.
This is gonna, I'm gonna blow him. Great blow is gonna be +1 to difficulty. It is Dex plus Brawl, but I will do damage +2.
Alright.
It is non-lethal because I'm using my hands.
Oh,
Okay.
she rolls 2 more too. Yeah. Oh, nice.
She's gonna
Jesus.
stuff me. I went for the cool move and she's
She's
gonna
slippery.
stuff me. Strength plus Brawl plus Potence.
you can do it. Come on.
3.
Believe in you.
Oh my god, that's 5, 12, and then it's difficulty 7.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
I don't
Does the meat seat will not go down?
All
This guy
right.
is a fucking boss.
Look.
God damn it, Geppetto.
Fly through, and he drops to one knee as I'm going over top of him, pretty much. Almost knock Odo out as I'm flying by.
Ellie
Fist going
sabotaged you.
inches from his head.
Ellie punching him in the leg made him go down. She sabotaged you.
All right. Let's do whose turn is it again? Let's see. It is. All right. It is Moses with the children.
So Moses is kind of backing up away from these kids and kind of turns to run actually away from them down towards the stage and sees that Geppetto is still up, and if possible he's going to like literally just try to hack him in the face with the sword. And Moses is for 20 years was literally a Knight Templar, so he does not care about keeping him alive. He does not care about anything. He's going to try to cut his face in half, essentially.
All right.
With a downward swing, with his potence.
This man's just going to do a matrix bow under it.
Do it up.
Backwards
this
limbo.
is the move.
Alright. So I add my potence to this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So melee strength. Is that what I'm doing?
Yes.
For a weapon attack, yes.
Yes.
That
So,
would be
like,
good.
weapon strike is dex melee with a
Oh,
weapon.
dex melee.
To
Okay.
hit, yeah.
Yeah, mostly to hit, usually it's dex melee.
Oh, and
it
then
goes by
yeah.
strength for damage,
Makes sense. Makes
plus
sense.
whatever else potence was.
Usually only use strength with like
For
grapple
damage.
or trying to
Okay,
move something.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So potence though.
It's melee.
Difficulty 6.
My boy.
Oh,
You got an
okay.
extra die.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you get this.
6 successes.
So
My strength is 5. So it'd be
he's dead.
5
He's
plus
dead.
2. Yeah, he just
He's
comes
Ash.
down and he just like strikes straight through his face as he's coming down the it's like going from up to bottom down the aisle, and he just brings his sword just straight through his head and it just cleaves it in half. And I guess I'll let Matihi describe how that looks. I don't want to overstep, but
That's okay. You can describe it if you want. It's your kill.
no,
I'll
you
do
go
that.
ahead. I don't want to go out of theme, so I'll let you do it.
All right. So, as Moses strikes down with his sword, he ends up very much impacting Mr. Geppetto, and as he slowly slices through the man, just clean through. Right before he turns to ash, you can slowly see basically his body kind of separate and one side slowly sink and fall faster than the other, and it kind of lands with plop on the ground. Mr. Geppetto kind of lays there looking up at Ellie, so kind of with a smile on his face, before slowly his face starts to crack and tear, and he melts into ash.
Ellie never showed any emotion as this was happening, as she watched him turn to ash.
What happened to you? It looks like you've fallen to dust.
I don't speak good, and I know that was terrible.
And
So
Victor.
Odo will try and get his bearings. He's looking around the room. He slides his dagger back into his belt.
best get this other one back to the prince.
Sir Bernard, though he cannot talk, looks on to the dust pile, shaking his head, and then looks over to Mr. H, and looks to the rest of you, kind of gives a subdued nod, and he starts moving out. Though he does gesture to the rest of the writhing children, kind of in the stands, making a motion to kill them by dragging his thumb across his neck.
Ellie will get to work on that.
Yeah, I'm taking them and just smashing them against walls and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just anyone that I walk up to just slash.
Moses will do the same.
Oh
He will go and he will not strike them down with his blade. When he comes up to them, he hits them with the pommel of his sword, just exploding their heads as he does so. But he won't kill them any other way. He like sits there, he grabs them by the throat and pins them down, and then comes with the pommel of his blades on the forehead, and just kind of caves in their heads.
Victor will go up to the one, not knowing it's the one traveling with Gravel, and looks him up and down. What do I see as far as that child? How are they acting?
So, as the rest of the screams kind of happen around the room, as the children are slowly dying by your hands, the child who is following... That sounded so creepy. So the child kind of looks up at you with big doll eyes, and he just kind of has a little smile on his face. Are you here to kill me?
Yes.
Pick him up and hold him by his neck.
And he just kind of chokes out.
It's a squeeze until his head pops off his neck. And then drop him.
He lands with a thud onto the ground.
Graviel will sort of... Graviel will pick a point when he sees this gargoyle snatch up the child that led him here, pop its head off, and he turns to him. A great weight has been lifted off my shoulders. This was for the best. Though I do regret seeing him die. He was still a child.
Ellie
Children,
off.
Women, men, they are all but nothing to us. We are monsters, beasts. You would do well to learn that instead of feeling pity for your prey. Slump your shoulders. I care for them not.
I don't understand why he even made them, Ellie says as she slashes one down. They hardly seem useful, so weak.
Perversity, pleasure. They were fools. They should have been hunters, not toy makers.
Spits on the ground.
Yes, they seem to possess a great deal of skill, and perhaps they lure some of these children here as well. They not imagine that they just took all of them.
They were weak. We have shown that.
They were
Pathetic.
children
They do not even fight back.
because they wish for death.
Then they deserve it.
They wish to be released from this prison, from the hell that's Easton. You
talk too
child.
much.
You are
And Ellie starts
You are
following
right.
out the Toreador.
You feel pity for these children.
I feel pity for not just the children. Because we are trapped. Just do not see this.
You are funny to me. You are a monster. You and I are the same. Yet you reject it. I think you make much mistake in this. This is a gift, not a curse. We are predators. This is prey.
Point down to the child,
Those,
pointing at the one we're carrying out with torpor.
they were predators, but they are our prey. You see things in a strange light, Carvael. I wish you more clarity in the days to come.
Perhaps we will see, though.
Perhaps.
I'm getting my cloak back on because I imagine we're going to go for an outside walk.
Moses is kind of sitting in the corner looking at his blade and inspecting the particles of flesh and dust and wood that has defiled it, and just kind of flicking it off, just basically very nonchalantly looking at the two of you argue, and doesn't really say anything, and just kind of waits for everybody to leave before he does himself.
As Ellie is following our Toreador deputy sheriff, she retracts her claws, and when she reaches outside, she turns off Eyes of the Beast so they're not glowing red.
And while everyone was talking and discussing the situation, no one even noticed that Odo was no longer there.
And that's game.
All right.
Thank you for joining me, guys.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That was a great